Today I'm in the Bukit, or what is otherwise known as Uluwatu these days. If you don't know it, it's that really southern part, the southern sort of peninsula of Bali, which is sort of on a raised area, a raised, dry, rocky area. And today I'm going to explore one little part of Uluwatu called Padang Padang Beach. And I'm going to have a walk around the street, see how it's changed over the last 15 years or so since I was last here. Everyone tells me it's changed dramatically and it's the new Canggu. And I want to really know, is it really the new Canggu, or is it still got a bit of a feel about it that was quite special back in the day? Let's check it out. Just going to stop in at this old house here. It's called Son of a Baker, and see if they've got a good coffee for me. Lovely little place actually, and it's got a little garden out the back where there's a bunch of people sort of sitting around, and it's sort of a really good start to this trip to the Bukit, or Uluwatu. I know that the food over the years has just grown into a really world-class standard, and I think that's why a lot of people come here. Cafes, food, that sort of stuff is really good. But I guess the question I've got after having this is going to be how pricey is it? Like that coffee, a cappuccino, is 47,000 plus 17% tax. That's pretty expensive. Like that's Australian prices right there. So it better be good, I guess, is the thing, isn't it? But if it's good, I'm okay with it, to be honest. But yeah, it's not a cheap place to come if you come into these sorts of places, I guess. The other question I have while I'm here is this still a surfer place, or has it really sort of gentrified a little bit? I mean, when I was here last time, just 99% surfers, 95% surfers. And because people are calling it the new Canggu, I then wonder, is it not really a surfer place anymore and just a place for the cool kids to hang out? So I'm going to sort of find that out today as well. I am seeing a lot of bikes around that have surfboard racks on them, which is pretty promising, because I mean, the surfer crowd's pretty down to earth normally, and I sort of like that. That looks good, doesn't it? That's my cappuccino. That's my lemon poppy seed cake. Let's give the cake a go first. You can't really go wrong, can you? Good. Cappuccino, not the prettiest one I've ever had. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if it's like it wouldn't be my top 5 in Sanur, for example. I've got to be really careful today to avoid cynicism, because I'm already feeling it, like it's welling up inside me, and sometimes it overtakes like rational judgment, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and be as honest and neutral about what I see today as possible, bearing in mind that I'm already feeling a little bit of cynicism building up. So that cost 130,000, more or less. That would probably cost, that was for the cake and the coffee, including tax. That would cost probably 80,000 in Sanur for the places that I go regularly. So it's a lot more expensive for starters. And for me, the quality is not there. It is a beautiful place though. And it's filled with people who, like, it's really busy, busier than most cafes would be in Sanur. So it's obviously successful. They can charge that price because people will pay it. Look at that, there's your beach down there. That's Padang Padang. Looks beautiful. I'll actually get down there and have a look, but that looks amazing. So yeah, I mean, the starting point is a little bit disappointing, that it's expensive for quality, which I don't really love. The people I'm seeing here aren't really the Canggu style of person so far. They remind me of some of those hippie style people, but they're rich ones, rich hippies, that you sometimes used to see in Ubud back in the day, maybe 15 years ago. They're 40-year-olds trying to sort of pretend that they're 25-year-olds and that sort of thing. It's a little bit odd. Like that cafe there, when I got there, everyone had sort of take their shoes off before they went inside. But I didn't. I just went in there with my shoes on. Somehow people were thinking it's some sort of like a Thailand thing, where obviously you take your shoes off inside, and that place you don't. Staff had their shoes on. Okay, they charge you 15,000 to go down to the beach, and there's no discount for if you're a resident, which is a bit sad. Locals go for 10,000. So we'll have a look down here. As I said, I've got to try and get rid of that cynicism, because it's just swamping me in spades. I'm not sure if it was the case or not, but I don't recall paying last time I was here. Here's a little entrance way through the cave. Hello, bar. Now I'm going to look like the nerdy one who's never been to a beach before, because I'm going to be walking on that sand with my shoes on. You know those people that have cameras on the beach with shoes on? I'm going to be one of those guys. So let's have a look. It looks good though. Jeez, it looks good down here. No thanks. Wow, it's beautiful, isn't it? I forgot how good this beach is. It's been a long time since I was here actually, and geez, it looks amazing. Yeah, I think it's actually worth coming to the beach just on its own. Like, that is so good, such a world-class beach. I love that it hasn't been built up down here either. There's a few buildings down here, but it's still quite local style. There's a couple of little warungs down there as well to get a bit of a small feed. Well, that's wiped away a lot of my cynicism, to be honest, because that is just one of the best beaches ever. Really good. And I think coming here from anywhere in Bali for a beach day, absolutely worth it. So that's the entrance there. That's the car park. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go up that way. For about a K up that way these days. It's almost like a walking street with cafes and places to stay, whereas last time I was here, it wasn't like that at all. So I'm going to check that out a little bit, see what it's like. And the first thing I'm seeing is a place called Tarragon, which is a Georgian restaurant. Great country, by the way, but just totally odd to see that they've got a restaurant with Georgian food in it in a place like Padang Padang. But that's the sort of thing we're talking about. There are some oddities here which sort of are emblematic of the broader feel here. It's a little bit, it does feel a little bit odd when I'm sort of first getting here. I'm also hearing a lot of foreign accents here. I'm not talking like Russian accents, I'm talking like European accents and a lot of different accents from all over the world, from younger people. And they're accents that I don't really hear too much in the Aussie enclaves, like in Sanur or Kuta and that sort of thing. So obviously, this is a favourite place for people from all over the world. I might just head down this alleyway, see where it goes. Seems to be a truck going there with construction material, which is not going to be too pleasant. But because I know it goes down towards the cliff side, I'm hoping I can get to something interesting down there. It's not that pleasant. Back in the day, I would have been down a lot of these little roads to the cliff sides and the beaches and so forth. But because things have changed so much, it's hard to recognise it. So back when I was doing a lot of these little excursions out to these cliffs and so forth, you had to walk through empty fields or fields with cows in them and that sort of thing. They were sort of people's land. There was no buildings there on most of them. And that wasn't even that long ago. Like, it's over 15 years ago, but it's changed a lot since then. So trying to get my bearings is really hard. Like, I don't recognise anything, to be honest. I recognise the bridge down near Padang Padang beach, but that's about it really. Seems to be a lot of construction going on. I think one of the appeals in the Bukit/Uluwatu area in the past was always that you could nick through some lahan kosong, empty land, and get to some of these beaches and remote places and explore a little bit. I'm getting the impression that it's still a little bit like that. I mean, there is a bit more construction going on, but you know, that's empty land there. It's all overgrown. And I can hear building going on around me, so that it's not, you know, going to last too long, but you can still come down these little secret sort of hidden laneways and get to what I'm assuming at the end is some sort of cliff top or beach or something like that. A little path down here. Let's have a look what's down here. I'm sort of on the cliff edge now, but I don't really have the view. I wonder if I can get one from down here. I can. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful over there? Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? So Padang Padang is over there. You'll see a heap of surfers out there. Probably, I don't know, 30 of them. And then the water down here is just crystal clear and beautiful. Nice little beach, actually. No entrance fee to get in. There are some waves over there. They're a little bit small. And then, yeah, the stairs down are pretty brutal, but beautiful spot. This is pretty cool. This guy's getting his supplies down. They've got a little pulley thing there, like a dumb waiter. There's a little bar over there as well, which looks really nice down the bottom. I don't know if it's accessible from here. It looks like you might go along the beach and you're into one of those bars over there, or little cafes with just one of the best views in the world. It is pretty stunning. Like, I actually forgot how incredible it is here. It is paradise. I was just speaking to the parking guys back there, and they were saying that things have been built out quite a lot since I was here last 15 or more years ago. And like, one of the guys only looked like he was just over 15 anyway, so he probably wouldn't even know what it used to look like. And I said, look, are the locals getting benefit from this? And he goes, I'm going to hard, because he's seeing some people get massive benefit from the development and others not getting so much. But he said, yeah, locals are benefiting from development down here, but it's not evenly spread. And I think that inequality is what always causes friction, isn't it? When some people are doing really well from development and others are doing okay, but not sharing some of that really, really massive money that's coming in. That's sort of like a metaphor for Bali as a whole as well. When you compare Bali and the poorer people in Bali to the poorer people everywhere else in Indonesia, well, the people in Bali are doing much better. On the whole, the people of Bali are much more wealthy. Cost of living's quite good in most areas. Of course, land prices in city areas are going up, but they have done it everywhere in Indonesia as well. There are some people who have done really, really well out of the tourism boom over the past 50 years. And there are other people who are just the ordinary people, like we are all around the world, the working class. And the working class does get lifted out of poverty at a much slower rate, and you never get the trappings of the billionaires who are out there. But that's the way it is everywhere, isn't it? So I often sort of think about Bali as sort of a rich island. And I know that's not always what people agree with. A lot of people think it's a bit poor, but I don't know. If you put it in perspective, generally it's a much richer island than most places in Indonesia, except like Jakarta. Jakarta's obviously a rich city, even though there is poverty there, but minimum wage and everything is a lot higher. One of the words that I say when I'm speaking to a lot of the guys around here are the words Zaman Dulu. And it sort of means in the old days. And I'm often referring to that because Zaman Dulu, it used to be like this. And it's just a really good term that you can use all the time. Zaman Dulu, whatever. So in the old days, I used to like going here. Yeah. Zaman Dulu, aku suka kesini. It's interesting because the word dulu in that is in the past, in that context. Dulu has a few different meanings, but in that context it means in the past. And Zaman is sort of a word that refers to the times. You can even say Zaman sekarang. You could say that. It's sort of like the times at the moment, sekarang at the moment. Back to the main road. This is what it looks like. One thing I'm noticing that I haven't noticed for a long time in Bali is people heading to the beach. When Kuta was all the rage, people used to go to the beach there, and it doesn't sort of happen so much anymore. And I think people moved to Canggu and realised the beach is not that great up there either. But now that people have really discovered the Uluwatu area, it seems that people are coming here to go to the beach. They're going with a little beach bag and they're in their bikinis or board shorts and spending the day down the beach. Seems to be the go around here. I like that. I'm not feeling the pretentiousness that I expected so far. There are people riding around, without their helmets on and that sort of stuff, and going around on rental motorbikes, and that doesn't bother me too much. That's a thing anyway, that always has been here in Bali, but I'm not seeing the arrogance that goes along with it. Maybe it's all the surfers sort of trying to keep people in check as well. And the reason I mention that is because when I've been in Canggu in the past, of course, people are riding around without helmets on, but then there's this thing where people are like that's interesting, aggression on the roads. You get these really buff guys who are just at the gym 24/7. They'll have the big headphones on, or the girls with the skimpy bikinis on with the big headphones on, and going around and driving like idiots. And the arrogance that you feel from those people, I'm not really feeling here. So whereas you might get that in Canggu, I'm not sure you get it here. That used to be a good place, Milk and Madu in Canggu area, and also one in Uluwatu. I might actually go across there and see what they've got. Nice little place, nice setup, really modern. Got that sort of modern Bali aesthetic going on. Coffee prices here are a little bit more reasonable, 40,000 plus 16% tax. So still a pretty reasonable price. Not as cheap as Sanur again, but I've got a funny feeling as I travel around a little bit that Sanur feels to be just on the lower side as far as prices go around Bali. It just seems to be slightly cheaper for most things, which is a little bit surprising because I get the impression that people who go to Sanur might have a little bit more money behind them than the young people who come to places like this, but they're a bit stingy like me. Like, maybe the older you get, the stingier you are because you know your earning capacity is not there anymore. Maybe that's the story, isn't it? Decent looking coffee, eh? And then they've got that smoking thing, the ashtray there. I'm in the smoking area, but there is a non-smoking area as well. So they've got that as well, right next to the playground. Fantastic coffee. Fantastic coffee. I prefer that one to the earlier one, to be honest. The crowd here seems a lot more suburban, a lot more normal, actually. It suits me more than the previous place I was at. Got myself some sort of berry bowl or fruit bowl concoction. Lots of strawberries. There's actually raspberry in there, but I'm not seeing any raspberry whatsoever. And chia seeds. Anyway, it looks good. It's supposed to be a raspberry one, but it's just strawberry. A bit cheap to get strawberries, isn't it? Let's give it a go. It's okay. To be honest, it tastes really healthy. Really healthy. So it's quite nice, but it's not like a big sugar bomb, which is what I think people want these days anyway. They don't want breakfast full of sugar. Okay, let's keep on walking. You'll notice that there's a bit of a footpath along here as well, which never used to be the case. I mean, when I say never used to be the case, I'm talking like a long time ago. So my point of reference here is such a long time ago that some people watching the video might go, no, that's always been there. But last time I was here, it wasn't. So that's just the way it is. That place, I paid $1.69 for that food and drink. A reasonable price, I guess, for a big brekkie like that. Again, more expensive than Sanur, but easily what you'd pay in somewhere like Seminyak as well. So this land here is exactly my memory of what this whole area was like. This really sort of scrubby land with lots of rocks in it, not really suitable for rice growing because there's no water. Lots of cows sort of grazing on this really unnutritious grass, and the cows never looked to be that meaty, to be honest. And to get to certain sort of cliff points, you'd have to walk across people's land and there'd be like a little dirt track going across there. I mean, I'm not even talking that long ago. I'm not talking like pre-2000 when, you know, a lot more people were coming here as surfers and doing this sort of this thing up here in the Bukit, or even the 80s when, you know, there was almost no roads up here. This is sort of recent when I first sort of came up here and explored it. So it's really changed quite a lot in a very short period of time. On both sides of the road here, heaps of cafes. There's a cafe there called Alor Cafe. Alor is an island in the east of Indonesia, very famous for diving, east of Flores actually. There are lots of clothing boutiques up here as well, which is interesting. One of the things I sort of mentioned before I had brekkie was that there are still people sort of riding around without helmets on and that sort of stuff around here. Not as much as what you'd probably find in Canggu, but there just are some. And one of the things about it is, I find, is that a lot of people, when they break the rules here, they do it without really understanding the context. So what happens here is that if foreigners break the rules, often locals who also break the rules will go off saying, you foreigners always breaking the rules and this sort of stuff. And the foreigners will often go, well, hang on, locals do it, so it must be okay for me to do it. But sometimes there's a lack of context, and the context is that when you break the rules here, you've got to do it in a polite way. You've got to be a little bit submissive. You've got to be sort of like a little bit shy and embarrassed about doing the wrong thing. You still do it, but you've got to have an understanding that people might look at you and go, hey, that's wrong. You go, oh yeah, sorry, and just do it anyway. But what happens with a lot of foreigners, because we don't sort of understand some of the nuance, we'll break the rules and someone might say, hey, don't do that. And then the foreigner might explain and say, nah, mate, the locals do it as well. I'm just doing what the locals do. And then that causes problems because there's an arrogance to it. It's the arrogance which is the problem. Even sort of riding around with these headphones on without a helmet is basically a sign of arrogance. It just looks arrogant and people feel that it's arrogant, and therefore when you break the rules, people are going to say something because you're being a bit arrogant about it. It's pretty simple. Well, up here, people are on the footpath behind me here. But, they're locals and they're not being arrogant about it across here. Jalan Pemuti. See what's down here. I think this goes down to a cliff as well. A lot of these sort of side roads do. Whether you can actually access the beaches or not, it's another matter. I mean, you have to sort of explore one by one to get the feeling of it. That's sort of what I like about the Bukit is actually, well, Uluwatu area, is that the exploration side of things is half the fun. You know, getting on a motorbike, or you could go around on a bicycle or on foot like me and just go up and down these roads and have a look what's there, because each one has its own little unique thing about it, which I really love. Look at that. Who said that decent prices are not on the menu? Juices for 18,000, get a cappuccino for 25,000. They've got a proper coffee machine. It's just not in the main drag, it's off on the side road, not really probably that popular. Let's have a look. There it is there, a tiny little place, looks like out the front of someone's house, and maybe attached to a homestay. Oh, beauty. And for brekkie there, you'll get a jaffle. I haven't had one of those for a while. Just on the word arrogant, there's a word in Indonesian, arogan, and there's another word which is sombong, which is like stuck up. Very similar words actually, but Indonesians really hate arrogance and people who are stuck up. There's a real pushback against arrogance and people who are stuck up, especially foreigners. Especially foreigners, because of Indonesia's colonial history with foreigners sort of holding the locals down. They really don't like it. You know, if you call someone sombong, it's a real sort of jab at them. And so please try not to be sombong while you're here. In fact, one of the things that really helps when getting along with a local is really lowering yourself a little bit. And I don't mean lowering yourself physically, although that is part of it. I wonder what's down there. There's a path down there. I might just go and follow that path. I might not go anywhere. But just lowering yourself, lowering your level in terms of hierarchy and all that sort of stuff. And geez, it goes a long way. And a great way to do it is actually just to be polite. If you're really polite, it brings you down a level to the person that you're speaking to. People love that. I don't know if too many people come down this little path, which means it probably doesn't go anywhere, but we'll find out. When I'm sort of out and about, you'll often see me try and be quite respectful to locals. Oh, hang on. Someone's toilet comes out into the path. That's weird. That is really weird. How do I get past that? Okay, this is not the most pleasant part of town. It's got to go somewhere though, doesn't it? It's gotten really dark all of a sudden. It's crazy. Nice. Anyway, yeah, getting back to the story, I often lower myself or try and be really polite to locals because I think you have a more genuine interaction with people. Here we go. What do we got here? Can I go right? Not really. Go left. Go down here. And that sort of genuine interaction becomes more real the more you can put yourself on someone else's level. And the reason it's important is that Indonesia also has status. It's really hard baked into the mentality and the psyche of the people from years of caste systems and that sort of stuff. And people sort of know their place in society. So if you've got a lower level job, you will usually, you know, submit to someone who's got a higher status job. That's normally the way. But then what that does, it gives that relationship a little bit of a master-slave type relationship. So if you want to have a genuine interaction with someone, you've got to try and lower yourself and be on the same level of whoever the person is. Otherwise, it's like a service type of arrangement where they're serving you and you pay them and it's not real anymore. That's sort of what I do. I mean, I don't sort of do it on purpose. It's just the way I've sort of interacted with people all over these years, and you sort of get used to it. Okay, this is interesting. Little path down there, past the bamboo. Hang on, what's that? Impossibles. Oh my God, this is Impossibles. I know Impossibles. I've been here before, but that was going through, they never had a path here. That's what it would be. I reckon I went to Impossibles before there was a path, like a proper path. But it doesn't look like anyone really uses this anymore. Beautiful, beautiful. I reckon the surfers do though. That's what I remember, that sort of setup. Cool, very cool. That's where all the builders are hanging out. But I haven't heard the word Impossibles for a long time, but it's still here. Wow, that's a big sort of apartment complex or hotel, but I don't know how people are getting down there because there doesn't seem to be access for cars. Maybe there is from a different side, and I've just come down some back alley somehow. That's what it feels like, but I don't know about that. Oh, that one, so that sign says there, Silakan Masuk Dari Gang overhead coffee. So there's obviously another alleyway somewhere with a proper entrance. That must be the story. Anyway, we're in the back entrance here. Oh, there seems to be a road down here. I truly have gone down a back alleyway when most people are probably coming down the road. That's weird. So unfamiliar. So unfamiliar. Where do I go here? Beach. See a sign saying beach over here. It must be down an alleyway down here. This actually looks like there's always been a road down here, doesn't it? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's always been a road down here and I'm just misremembering it. Definitely possible. After having sort of walked around this area quite a bit today, I'm sort of getting a feel for what I like and what I don't like. I don't like the main road. I really don't like it. Nicking up there for a bite to eat is fine, but this is the sort of places that I really like. And I think coming down to the Bukit, you have to pick your spot and you have to sort of think, why am I going there? What am I sort of hanging out there for? Am I going to the beach? Am I going surfing? Or what am I doing there? If you're just sort of going there to hang out generally and you're on, you know, you're a younger crowd, of course, you're probably going to want to be closer to that main road so you can walk out and go to the restaurants and cafes and that sort of stuff. But I think if you're here for, you know, say 5 days in a hotel like the one up there, and you've just got a short walk down a path like this, or maybe a long walk to the beach, that could also be really amazing as well. And it feels a million miles from everywhere. The main thing about the Bukit area or Uluwatu area is that getting around is tough. You can get around on the back of a motorbike, you can hire a motorbike, you can go around on bicycles, but it is quite hilly. And on foot, you can go only so far. I mean, it's okay, because I'm on foot at the moment, but you're gonna need to be fit because it's up and down stairs and hills and all that sort of stuff. And it could get pretty tiresome pretty quick, especially if you're sort of staying in a place that's a little bit away from where you want to eat and you have to go in and out multiple times a day. That could be bad. This is a cool little way to get to the beach, isn't it? You have to go across this little bridge and then down these steps just before we get to room 7. Okay, we're finally here. Look at this. This is paradise. Amazing. I actually don't remember this beach at all. I have been here, I know I have, but I just am not familiar with it, especially because up there it's got a few buildings up there now. There's a little hotel up there, but gee, the water's just beautiful. Little nice cove over there. Just a beautiful part of the world. Like the weather today is great as well. It is warm, but it's cooled down a bit of a breeze around. Nice place for a swim. Wow. This is Impossible. So this is the area around Padang Padang. I've really sort of enjoyed walking around today and rediscovering this place and learning a little bit more about how things have changed over the past sort of 15, 20 years. It's actually a bit better than I expected. I expected it to be a little bit more Canggu-like. I haven't had problems with traffic yet, although I understand that is a problem in this area. Definitely a place to check out if you're looking for something a little bit different. Nice beaches, good modern places to eat. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sonora and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.